Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got a question from Tom here about sort of international exchange rates and moving. He says, I plan to move to Brazil, where my wife is from, in the next year, and I'm just learning programming and would love to be able to work remotely while earning in dollars because the current ratio is nearly 4-to-1 in terms of the currency exchange and has steadily been over 2-to-1 for many years now. I've been told it's not the best idea to work remotely as a junior web developer. Do you suggest trying to freelance, registering a business/startup here in the US and running that while earning in dollars, or trying to find a remote job which pays in dollars? Just a note, I had an online business that I ran for 3 years which made between $32,000 and $55,000 each year, which would be significant money in Brazil with the exchange. So Tom, first I have to address this issue because I don't understand this, and maybe someone will correct me here. But I always hear people talking about the exchange rates between countries, and exchange rates really don't matter, right? What matters is the cost of living difference, I think. So it doesn't matter necessarily that, what the exchange rate is between the US dollar and the Brazilian dollar. I mean, to some degree, right, it matters in the short term, but unless you're a Forex trader trading currencies, it's like the market is going to even itself out. It's not going to be a huge difference. Like you might get a small arbitrage situation where the dollar is stronger or weaker in a particular currency when you travel or go on vacation, but that's really only going to matter if you book something in advance. As far as, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I can understand, that the prices are going to just increase on the other end, and you're not going to ever get a situation where you're going to get something for nothing. So the fact that it's a 4-to-1 in terms of currency exchange, the reason why I'm saying that is I wouldn't base it on that. I would base it on what is the standard of living, like how much in equivalent US dollars or whatever is going to buy you so much of a standard of living in Brazil, as opposed to what is exactly is the currency exchange rate. Again, I could be wrong here, but if I am wrong here, then I think we should all be making a fortune trading Forex currency because if these arbitrage situations exist, then obviously you could take advantage of them very easily. So I'm just thinking that this must not be the case. And having traveled around Europe this year, I can tell you that it's not what the exchange rate was. Is this an expensive country or not? Are the prices expensive? Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about your plan here. So I think, well, living in a country that has a lower cost of living and earning US dollars is definitely good. It's just difficult to do, especially, you said, as a junior web developer working remotely. There's not going to be very many opportunities for that, to be honest. If you want to get into this career field, I wouldn't suggest moving to Brazil right away. Like, you're going to have to build up some experience and perhaps get some cash reserves rather than trying to operate from another country. It's going to be much more difficult. You're going to tend to have to bill what people in that country are billing in general. A lot of people are not going to want to hire a junior web developer remotely. It's hard to get remote jobs as it is, but typically they're going to expect that you're going to need supervision. They're not going to trust you. You're going to have a lot of competition. So I wouldn't go that route. Also, trying to freelance. I mean, freelancing might work for you, but again, without experience, that's going to be difficult. So if you register a business or startup in the US, again, that makes sense, but you still got to be able to make money. So I think you've got a good plan, but I would see that as more of a retirement plan. I wouldn't really see that as something that you can just move to Brazil and expect that you're going to be able to make a US salary. I mean, well, let's think of it this way, right? If you could do that, then couldn't a lot of people who live in Brazil just get jobs from a US company or, make a US salary while they're living in Brazil? Maybe some of them can, but obviously most of them can't. So if it's not going to work for them, it's probably not going to work for you. But what can work for you, is to develop your skills in the US, to maybe if you move to a really expensive city in the US, like New York or San Francisco, where you can get a really high wage as a programmer, you live for cheap there, and you stashed a bunch of cash then you could essentially retire in Brazil. And maybe if you've built up, you find a good company that you're working for in the US, and you get them to let you work from home and work remotely, like as step one. And then after time, what you can do is say, hey, I'm gonna move to Brazil. Can I still work remotely? Then it's not as big of a transition, and you've got more of a chance there. But I don't mean to be pessimistic, but I think the chances of you as a junior web developer just getting into programming, being able to move to Brazil and find a good US job that is going to pay you, a high salary while you're living in Brazil, I wouldn't count on that. I don't mean to dash your hopes, but I just wouldn't count on that. Instead, I would try to think about, do you want to develop your skills? If you want an arbitrage situation, which it sounds like you do, you want to be able to make US dollars and live on Brazilian cost of living, you're going to have to figure out a way to do that, which might be saving a bunch of money and then retiring there, or it might be working for a company in the US, getting experience, getting to eventually be able to work remotely, and then eventually moving to Brazil. That's what I would recommend. I wish you the best of luck. Maybe you prove me wrong, Tom, but that's just my experience here. So if you've got a question for me, email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. And if you like this video, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. Take care.